Could you introduce Fluey Trading Group and the products you sell and all the industries you're involved in and so on?
Well, Fluey Trading is kind of a complex company. They started off mostly in food services. So we are into produce, meats, dry goods. So they're supplying mostly restaurants here in Winnipeg and grocery stores. That's the main aspect of Fluey Trading when it started off. Fluey Trading is also looking into many other options that's available when it comes to business. And one of them was now the construction world. So in construction, there's a few options that we got into, and GFRP is one of them. We also do materials that go along with the rebar, such as loop ties, rebar chairs, tie wire, and a few other things like along that line. So construction and food services is the majority of food trading. My background had a lot to do with it. So prior to me coming to Fluey was not into construction materials, but my last 20 to 25 years has been in the construction world. And the majority of it was into the steel rebar industry. So I was involved into sales and into steel products, but primarily rebar, angle iron, tubing. But rebar was the main focus of my work in the past 20 years. So when FRP kind of surfaced a few years ago, it piqued my interest, and I was kind of getting more and more invested into researching it. And then the opportunity came through Fluey to pursue the GFRP portion of the rebar part of my business through Fluey. So last year I made the decision to step away from the steel industry and focus primarily on GFRP rebar. So that's how I kind of brought the construction portion of the business to Fluey, is through my past years in the steel industry. I think innovation is a big part of your future, and if you want to continue surviving in the industry, I think innovation is a big factor in that. So I just find the GFRP has more of a focus on the future and science and moving forward. I find steel is kind of stagnant when it comes to development. You know, like the rebar that I was selling at the beginning of my career is probably very much the same rebar 20 years later. Where I think GFRP, to me, comes across as a more a scientific-based industry, and things are always evolving, moving forward. And I think being in the front of innovation is the best way to be, you know, keeping your future in the business alive. So that's primarily the beginning of it. But then looking into it deeper, the benefits of GFRP over steel started kind of mounting, and I can just see how, for me as a salesperson, how that would be a benefit for me in sales when you have all the benefits that GFRP provides, including you know, especially the weight of it, the strength of it, and then like we said too about the innovation of it. And the part I like is the you know, the greenhouse network that we're going to be kind of strangled in, I think, in the future, where you know, CO2 emissions is now part of the equation. You need to start thinking about all that. And the steel industry is probably one of the more dirty industries out there. So moving away from that is also another benefit. Well, there's a few things, but doing the research on it, there was numbers that I looked at, and then you can see there's differences from bar to bar. And I wouldn't say there's major differences. I think along the line they're kind of using the same ideas overall, but I thought SFTec was probably the most professional out of the groups that I encountered. But through the personnel here at Fluey as well, there's also a connection with SFTec and the people from Fluey here So it was kind of a meeting, but it was a meeting that kind of felt right when we started looking at other companies as well. And SFTec is the one that kind of stood out as our best fit. And we're happy with the way the product is manufactured and shipped over to us. And so far, top of the line and no issues that's for the quality of the material. So that's, in a nutshell, that's where it comes together. Well, Manitoba is a stubborn market when it comes to change. So there is for sure some legwork that needs to be done. A lot of education needs to be done. There probably one of the bigger issues that I've found is the misconception of GFRP and about the strength of it and the endurance of it. And so it's just a matter of educating the people who are now been in the steel industry, using steel for 80 years, to convince them to step away and try something new. So that's a big hurdle here in Manitoba. There's a wide range. There are contractors who love new product and innovation, and they're eager to try something new. But I would say the majority of them are very cautious. So they're very cautious on moving from something that they've been using for such a long time into a new direction. So with those, I just try to move slowly with them. Try a small job, try a few bars here, and just get some feedback, and that's how it's been going, as trying to get the confidence of these contractors onto a new product that they're not familiar with. So it's a bit of an issue, but it's across the board. Some of them are excited about it and gung-ho about it, and others are more tentative about it, and some of them don't want nothing to do with it. So it is a spectrum of reactions to the FRP bar. The vast majority is very positive, even to the one line, which I'll quote. One of my contractors said it was a dream to work with. So that's a pretty nice comment to hear. And he said, we'll definitely be buying more of it. So he was a fellow who does pool decks around the pools. So this material needs to be carried into the backyard for the most part. There isn't road access into these yards. So his fellows need to carry bars from the street, through the front yard into the backyard. So for those guys, it's obvious no-brainer that they would, love the fact that it's a quarter of the weight of steel, and then cutting with it was simple as well too. But the most people enjoy it, and good feedback. If I had to pick, the main complaint was more just the fibers off the bar. Like, they have to wear gloves, because they do get slivers if they're not wearing gloves. So to me, that's probably the number one complaint I hear from my guys.
Actually, thanks for bringing this up, because we're actually working on a new bar that's going to be, let's put it this way, no itchy or no slivers. Yeah. We have it actually. We physically have some samples and everything. Okay. But we're trying to perfect the technology a little bit better, right, so that we can make it more cost effective. We're hoping, I don't want to give timelines, but we're hoping sooner than later it will be in the hands of our distributors, like yourself, our partners, and their customers too. And when it comes to cutting, of course, there will always be some fiber or fiberglass dust.
Sure.
It's just like
steel.
Working.
When you cut steel, there's steel dust as well.
Yeah, or drywall and so on. We always recommend that people wear goggles and masks. When you're working in construction, you should have your PPEs with you all the time and wear them, use them. Doesn't matter what kind of material. It has to be handled according to the manufacturer. So for your own safety and for the safety of the people around you.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Al, thank you very much for the time you gave me today. We look forward for our partnership in Manitoba. We look forward to support you. And
thanks for putting us together. It was good seeing you again.
Same here. Thank you, and have a great day.
All right, thank you.